Now, we're gonna learn that technique first. So we're gonna get up here pretty soon and get out there. But I just want to let you know that from there, we have different bottoms to put on, okay? And we'll learn it for speed walking or walking faster, okay? So it looks like this. Without putting those booties on, I'm gonna drop my poles so it looks different, and then I'm gonna have them propelling forward. So it's gonna be really fast, okay? And we're gonna try out both of those if they're appropriate for you today. Okay, some of them are not, and that's completely fine. We're all here at different levels, and sometimes some people like one over the other anyway, okay? But poles can be beneficial for anybody. And one of the other research articles that I love talking about, actually there's two articles, they came with the exact same conclusion. So the one article, they have really funky names, so I'm not even gonna throw that out there. So I apologize to the author of these articles, these research articles. The one was for people that had chronic conditions, so COPD, maybe they had Parkinson's, severe back pain. There's like lots and lots of different categories of that population. And then the other article was done by somebody completely different, but it was for athletes, okay? Anybody that used poles for a sport, so whether that be hiking, whether that be cross-country skiing, and they did a look and they found out that they were activating more body muscles, right? And their RPE was increased. So that means that they were getting a better workout, okay? But what happened is when they asked them, did you feel like you were working harder than without poles? They said no. So now we have all these people in all these population types, right? From people that need them for balance to people that need them, that were using them as an athlete. They are getting a better workout by using poles, but they didn't really realize that they were. So again, I always say, if you're gonna go out and get a workout, why not get a better workout in, right? Why waste your time? Not waste your time, but you know what I'm saying. All right, so we're going to all get up and we're gonna learn how to use these poles. So anybody that walked in late, I just want everybody to know, I am allowing you to borrow my poles today, okay? Please do not take them with you when we get done. Leave them here. A lot of them are brand new. You saw me pull them out of the package. If you want to purchase them, they are for sale at the end, okay? I just want you to know that, but please don't walk off with them. And I know some of you already had them, so I appreciate that. But for those of you that did not get poles put in your hand, we're gonna stand up in here and do an introduction exercise so that we know how to set the poles up properly. And you're gonna take the bottom that usually touches the ground, okay? You're going to turn it until you see a white line come through the hole.
Oh,
ingenious, right? Not for those people that don't have activator poles. This is just for the people that have activator poles. I'm not sure how the other pole down. And that little clip locking is going to go into place. But what you want when you're standing up nice and tall, your feet are shoulder width apart, you want your pole so that your arm is at a 90-degree angle. Okay, so you're standing up tall and my arm's at a 90-degree angle right here. Okay, resting on that ledge. Yours are a little bit, because we always want your hand resting on that ledge right there, right, to get that benefit. Down the hill is the same as up the hill, okay? If you need to stop yourself from going so fast, you would just plant both of them out in front of you and walk down the hill. Plant both of them out and walk down the hill, okay? Somebody else? Yes?
Well, how do you get walk fast at all?
Then you talk to me and we'll work on that in class.
We're turtles.
So, okay, this is totally off topic, but we're going to talk. I can't help myself. You guys are making me talk about this right now, okay, as a therapist. So, there is some research that shows that we shouldn't be just walking like a turtle. Okay, there is a sweet spot of how fast we should be walking to make sure that we can stay independent and active and cross the street without having to stress out about the light changing colors, right? So, although there is some time for Okay? We want to make sure we're also getting in some speed workout in there, okay? We want to make sure that we're walking with a purpose is what I call it, because that's what's going to keep us independent. And that sweet spot is 1.0 meter per second to 1.2 meters per second. There is research that shows that if you are under that, you're at an increased risk for falls, mortality, and hospitalization. Yeah, right? We don't want to hear that. Okay? There's also research about this too.
What's that on a treadmill?
Yes, drive.
I don't know. I'm sorry, I can't.
How do we
I can
measure
figure
if
it
we're
out
going
for
fast
you.
enough?
There's a lot of people walking backwards in the line.
And yes.
Yes. Oh,
Yes, drive.
there is a lot of people walking backwards in the Y on the treadmill. And okay, you guys keep bringing up my soapbox. So what is the purpose? Are you one of them?
No.
Is anybody in here a backwards walker on the treadmill in the Y? I love it, right? I just told you that there's awesome research about walking backwards and reduced fall risk. This goes for going forward too. I see a lot of people on the treadmill holding on, walking backwards, okay? I challenge whoever it is to stand up tall and try not to hold on. So maybe you take one hand away and walk backwards for a while, and then the goal is eventually walking backwards with no hands. Because it allows you to stand up tall, okay? And you're not going to be holding on. What do you have to do backwards? Nobody knew that they were going to get quizzed today on something totally off topic and not home related, right? This is a physical therapist in me, okay? Do you have to open up a door? Open up your refrigerator, right? People are like, how about backing up to a chair? It's just one step, but if you get really good at taking multiple steps backwards, it's going to make it easier for a long
So
time.
when it's Parkinson's, there's times when he's running, okay, it's in the brain.
Yes.
So it's like running. So will the poles help with that? Because that's an issue.
Yes. I would say, have you been to a physical therapist?
Yeah.
Have you been to physical therapy?
Yeah.
One that has specific Parkinson's
No.
certification? Let's talk outside of this.
Okay.
So yes, okay, and then I did get a question. Now's the time for question and answers. I'll try to stay on topic. For people that are going to be using them, the speed walking type, all we have to do is take these bottoms off, and the booties come on, and the booties go on so that they're facing the wall behind you. Ooh, did you see those reflexes? So my laces are going to be facing, if I'm walking this way, my laces are going to be facing the wall back here. Because what? I just lost my shoe again. Because what happens is when I swing my arm forward, okay, when I swing it forward, this booty's going to catch the ground, and my hand's going to push backwards, and that's where you're activating all of those muscles in order to go further.
And where
So-
do you use the booty? On going up a hill?
So a booty is only for people that have better balance, right? So if you have stability issues or you have issues with your joints and want to offload your joints, these are going to be the best ones for you, okay? Because they have the biggest surface area, okay? If you want to challenge your balance and progress to the next one, which I suggest that, right? We always want to be challenging our balance in order for it to get better. Then you can even just walk normally with I call this the activator technique, with those bottoms on, okay? Right? Because that's going to challenge your balance. It's just not going to be as stable. Or you would use these for the higher level technique where they're behind you and they're propelling you forward. Okay? What other questions does everybody have?
Do those come extra?
Yes, these are extra, and we'll talk about that in just a little bit. Travel. Okay? People love take these to travel because they're like, I go to Europe and they're all cobblestone streets, or we're walking so much. Traveling with the poles. If you use them as your assistive device through the airport, you can take them with you. In most airports, I've never been stopped, but somebody told me before that you couldn't, that they weren't able to take them through. You get up to them and you said, my doctor prescribed these to me. They're better than a cane or a walker for me. They should not give you any kind of question. Okay? if you don't have to use them through the airport or you don't want to, you just want to take them with you, then I would put them in my check bag so that you don't have to worry about that. For the regular activator poles, I pull mine apart and they fit into most normal size check bag. Okay? The activator 2 poles, or the ones that have 3 pieces, the ones that go up to 6'4", they do collapse a little bit shorter. So some people that travel a lot, they still can't put them in their carry-on bag because they're going to make you check them if you do that. But if you, these do collapse a little bit smaller, so they're a little easier to put in checked suitcase. I just like to disclose all of that. And if you're still nervous Nelly, then ask me or ask somebody to write you, your doctor to write you a letter that says, I need these as my assistive device, and you should be able to show them to TSA. The only person I've ever heard of that had a problem that really needed them was, she was in another country, and as soon as she pulled them apart and so they could see there was no drugs in there,
Yeah.
she was free to go, right? Yep. So, but for the most part, they are good, and I try everything that I ask my participants to do or my clients to do, and so I've actually gone through TSA with the poles, and they were completely fine with it. Walking my dog. I love taking my dog for a walk with these, and I always get the question, how do you walk a dog when you have poles in both hands?
I was wondering how you get luggage
Yeah,
and
how
walk
do
with
you?
poles.
So, if you have luggage, I would probably use one. I don't recommend using one pole very much, because right, I like that upright symmetrical, but using your luggage, I would pack one away and then use one. The other time is in the house. So I went an entire month using poles as my assistive device. I'm not lying to you. I got up in the morning, I picked up the poles just like I needed them because I wanted to see what they always give me pushback. They always question my decisions. So I was like, what are they going to come back to me and say? The only time I really I wasn't able to use 2 was in the house. If I needed to carry my cup of water, if I needed to carry my plate, then I had one pole and I would carry my stuff. But anywhere else, even going to the grocery store, I walk up to the cart, I put them in my cart, and then when you go back to your car, you're pushing the cart because you have groceries in them anyway, right? And then you just put them in the car just like you would your groceries at the end.
How do you do the dog?
The dog. Thank you for keeping me on task here. I get so distracted. I have a waist leash. So I even call my dog, I call him Zigzag because he likes to do this. Okay? He stays out of the way of the poles. Poles stay out of his way. I put this here and he's out in front of me, and then I have both my poles when I'm walking my dog. Okay? So remember, some of these things that we're talking about aren't for everybody, right? So know your mobility levels. But one of the reasons why I love them is that they're for such a wide range. They're from people that need them for assistance all the way up to athletes, right? So that's part of the reason why I love the poles, especially they're better than any other assistive device. So I got asked the question, how much do they cost?
Yeah.
Right? So the regular poles, the black ones and the silver ones. So these ones and whoever has the black ones. Yes, right there, thank you. They're the standard ones. They MSRP, or if you were to go on Amazon or go to Urban Polling yourself, they're $125. Today they're $115 plus tax. The Modas are a little bit more expensive because they come with this, and they're colorful. They're MSRP, or if you were to go online to find them, they're $135, and I'm going to sell them to you today for $125. And the Activator 2 poles, or the taller ones, they're $155, and today they're $135. And the boot tips, if you want the boot tips, they're just $10 extra. And I might have a free gift for everybody. I think I brought enough. So if anybody wants snow baskets or things they'll be using them, you guys can all get a free pair of snow baskets.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? And all you do is, so I don't take mine on and off very often because they are hard. They're going to challenge your grip strength, I'm telling you that right now. So all you do is kind of twist and pull, you can pull one off, and then that's how you put it back on as well. Okay? Any other questions? Yes?
Okay, now,
I know I'm going to forget something.
just out of curiosity, I called mine, now I have Anthem Blue Cross Blue Shield besides Medicare, to see if they would cover these.
You did.
They do not, they'll cover a cane or a walker. But, and one, I guess some insurances will only cover Y membership fees, which I think that's crazy. Because you
So,
wanna be healthy, right? But anyway. So I'm gonna have my physical therapist write a letter and see if they'll, I mean, it's only $100, but $100 is $100.
this is the other caveat. This company's out of Canada, so they're trying to get in the process, but you know how insurance, we all know how the US insurance goes. So, you can have your PT write a justification letter and see if they will approve it, which sometimes they do. But they also, if anybody has, actually, sometimes they will deny it, sometimes they'll approve it. So, I mean, it's just maybe depending on, I mean, don't get me wrong, I would love it if they covered that for everybody. And it's better alternative than what's out there, I think, but, they don't ask me. They don't ask me.
So if you're a walker, should you put poles in all the time, or should you do like a leg day and an arm day? Should you do a whole day and a not whole day, or?
Yeah, I mix it up.
Mix it up.
Because you also want to practice your balance because you don't always probably want to be walking with poles, right? So I always, during my classes, some days I tell them it's pole day, some day I tell them it's just balance day, so we're working on our balance a little bit more and our dynamic walking. And some days they look at me and I can tell that they're just off, right? Some days are better than others. So I'm like, if today's an off day, then use your poles.
What's your class? Is that like at work? What are you
So,
talking about?
yeah, I'm sorry. So I teach multiple different classes for Parkinson's. So those are the classes that I'm talking about. I apologize, but they do have pole walking classes here at the Y. So if you're a Y member, you can go and look up. Do you know when they are?
Walk the Y and strolls with the
Thursday mornings at 8:15.
At the high school right now.
That's walk the
At the
Y.
old high school.
No, that's, is that walk the Y or
At
strolls?
the other Y.
Strolls with poles.
It's the other YMCA. Do you know
The
where
one
that's
we're
at?
in first. That's
Yeah.
why we were there.
Yeah.
that.
Oh, yes.
And walk the Y.
Yeah.
Stability issues. What I find is that the poles, right, we already talked about them, that they're really good for helping with balance. They're better than most of the time than a walker or a cane. But if people have some issues and they go to fall, okay, the poles allow them enough time, because usually what I hear is, it happened so fast, I couldn't tell you what I did, I couldn't change anything. But when you have poles in your hands, right, they allow you a little bit of extra time to think about and be able to take that step. So I've seen them greatly help reduce falls. The other thing is that when you go to fall, and we're not going to get into this for a lot, but when you go to fall, the worst thing that you can do is this. Stiff, straight arm, because what's going to happen? Buckle your ribs. You're going to break your ribs, you're going to break your shoulder, right? So what they say is, what I've seen actually happen, I've seen somebody cross-country skiing, actually for snow skiing with me, he fell. Because your hand is on this ledge, it didn't allow him to do this. It allowed him to fall, take his time, slow it down, and he fell, so he landed on the meaty part of his body, so he did not get hurt. So again, I don't love that he fell, but it helps to reduce fall risk, okay? The other thing, I see people that some of you have straps on your poles. The reason these were specifically designed by that occupational therapist without the straps was because there is a little bit of research that's out there that shows that if your hands get stuck in that strap when you lose your balance or you go to fall, it can cause skier's thumb, which means you break your thumb or break your wrist. Okay, and that's why these were designed specifically for the benefits, right? That right here and push into that ledge. Right? You're coming up, pushing the poles to the ground. All right, let's get back to shaking back and forth here. Now we're going to do heel taps. Okay? So our heels are going to tap in front of us as we're shifting back and forth. Try to keep your feet nice and wide. So instead of shifting and having it go in front of the other foot, have it go straight out in front of you. Good. Now, we are arms involved. We're adding some complexity to this. Try to get your opposite arm to go with your opposite leg. Yeah.
This is forward, this is me.
So when your right foot is out, try to get your left foot or your left hand out.
Oh, that's the thing.
Yeah. For those of you that don't know me, I'm all about layering on that challenge. Good. All right, now we're gonna keep our left foot in front. So when I look down, I want to have a lot of space between my legs here, okay? I don't want the tandem tightrope. I want to be here, and now we're gonna shift our weight forward, and then we're gonna shift our weight backwards. And then we're gonna shift our weight forward, and we're gonna shift it backwards. As big of movements as you possibly can. When you go back, most of your weight's on your back foot. When you come forward, most of your weight's on your front foot. If that's easy for you, kick that foot back.
Nice.
Woo, yeah. All right. Now from here, we're keeping those feet just like they are. We're going to take that back foot, and I'm going to drive it up. Okay? And then it's going to go back behind me again, and I'm going to drive it up again. Use those poles. Do not death grip, okay? If you cannot go really high, for some people it might just look like this. Okay? For some people, I want you to try to get it as tall as your handles. You do what you feel safe. Because I have not met most of you before. Okay? I want you to push yourself. We're going to do 5 of those. Everybody ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Excellent. We're going to switch legs. So whatever leg was in front last time, we're going to switch it around. We're going to start with weight shifting forward and backwards. Try to get nice big weight shifts. Excellent. All right, everybody ready for the knee drive? Here we go. So make sure your hands are nice and loose on this, okay? Look at my hands aren't even having to grip it. They just sit on that leg. Okay? So people with arthritis problems, I hope that you just make it nice and relaxed. You're not feeling it. All right, here we go. We're going to drive them up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What if we got our arms involved? A little dance. Right, that helps us stand up nice and tall at the top. Good. All right. Now, if we were to go back and put all of those moves together, what would it look like? What did we just do? Huh?
We'd all be laying on the
Watch me. Okay? Shifting our weight. Tap our heel. Shift our weight forward. Throw our knee up. Right? Just walk. Okay? Perfect warm-up exercise before you go for a walk. Okay? Like nice big weight shift side to side. Nice big weight shift forward and backwards so that we have some momentum. It's perfect warm-up. All right. Who's ready already to learn the first right into place. Okay? It is opposite arm, opposite leg, but I don't want you thinking about that. I want you to just think about walking. Okay? Your pole should stay out in front of you and perpendicular to the ground. So when you take a step, that pole is going to plant straight up and down. So let's just, if you guys are going to go up there, just go maybe down and around that pole. Hug the shoulder there, go down around the pole, gripping the handles. Do I have my shoulders back? Nice and loose on those handles. That is just an estimate of how we get started. For some people, it'll be better to raise that one. For some people, it'll be better to lower that one. Okay, it's just a starting point. So if anybody feels like their poles aren't the right height, you can either ask me. I think they look good. Like I talked about, okay? When I'm at the end of my hike and I'm super tired, I will do what I call double poling. Okay? And so you get up to that hill and you're putting both poles up here and allowing them to pull you forward. Okay? So you're here, let them pull you forward. If you're still feeling some pain, like with walking normally with the poles, you can even do that if you need a little bit more support right now. Okay? Until you get used to walking with the poles, and then try to gradually, the goal would be side by side, right? So what you're thinking about is a normal gait pattern. We want those arms swinging from side to side. A walker does not allow that, right? So these force arm swing. So for my people with Parkinson's, this is amazing for them because it not only gets them upright, so their hips are open, or for anybody, their hips are open, so they can take more symmetrical steps, but it also makes people swing their arms. Okay, and sometimes we get out of that, or one side doesn't swing as good for people with Parkinson's. Okay, down the hill, same thing. Both poles out, you're gonna walk 2 or through, both poles out, 2 or through, okay? There are different bottoms, so every single pair of poles, you can pull these off, and they have a carbide tip. Okay, so if you're walking on gravel or mountain, yes, absolutely, this might be good. Ice, right, I don't recommend walking on ice, but sometimes that's inevitable when you have to leave the house. Okay, do not walk on pavement with this tip. It's going to make it really slick. Or carpet, you might get it stuck on there, yes. Okay, so all of them come with these flat bottoms, and you can they just pull right on and off.
Can I get replacements at the hardware store when I lose them or whatever happens to them?
I don't know if at the hardware store, but I have them, you can get them on Amazon. But if they have them at the hardware store, I would see if they worked on the bottom of these.
So they're specific to this brand.
These are built by this brand,
Okay.
but I've had them work on
Got
other
it.
people's poles,
Got
so I just can't guarantee it.
Okay.
Okay? So what are the difference between all of the poles that we have out here? Okay? Some people are loving this colorful ones, right? Some people have the silver ones right there. Yep. And some people have tall ones. Where's my gentleman? Right here. Yeah. Okay, so the silver pair, the colorful pair, and the black pair. I forgot right here. Sorry, I'm pointing you out. They're all exactly the same. They're just different colors because some people can't take colorful pairs to the funeral that they might have to go to while they're using their poles. And I'm not lying. Other people are just like you guys came in and they're like, oh my gosh, I want the colorful one, which is me, right? That's my favorite pair. The only difference with the colorful ones is that they do have sand baskets. Sand baskets are going to stop them from falling too far into a really soft surface. So sand, snow. I've done snowshoeing without a sand basket on and it still works. But that is the purpose of this thing that's right here. We do have snow baskets as well. They just look like it's, when you have a cross-country ski pole, they just look a little bit different. The other ones that this gentleman up here has and this gentleman back here has, those are called activator 2 poles. They go a little bit higher. So these go to about 6 foot, 6'2". It just depends on what you look like. And the other thing I forgot to tell everybody, that needs these for balance and stability is that the poles are weighted to 200 pounds per pole. Okay? Most other poles, especially if you're offloading joints, are only weighted to like 30 or 90 pounds. So when I have them in the clinic and my client really needs to use them, or you really need to use them to go up or down a hill, I know they're not going to break on you. Okay? And I have done the test before and broke somebody's pole. So that wasn't very cool. So that's the other. So these go up to 6 foot. We recommend 250 pounds per person to use this. Those go up to 6'4", and it's like 325 pounds. The other question I get asked a lot is that if I want to travel with them, okay? You guys want to go back inside? Let's go back inside. Or you would put the booties on, and I'll show you inside. We'll just probably run out of time, and if we have time at the end, we'll do it. Your hands go down here. So this is the fitness technique, okay? Your hands are going to go down here. You're going to take a few steps, and that's when you bring your hand forward. You let that boot tip push it to the ground, and it's going to propel you forward, and you're going to walk a lot faster, okay? That's the one that's going to get your heart rate up. That's the one that's going to get your heart rate up, okay? So on the way back in, if you want to practice that, feel free. I do have some booties, so at the end, if you guys want to try that technique, I'm more than happy to put them on so that you can